Morning kids, I just finished interviewing people at this year's London Pride event, trying to find out what people think is missing from the conversation around LGBT issues. And I gotta say, this was my favourite moment. I'm Fabian, I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Matt.
And what do you think is missing from the... Fucking rope!
Tolerance. I think that's what's missing.
Perfect! Now, not to straight-splain what he's about to say, but heteronormativity is this idea that straight relationships aren't just the norm, but are actually superior to other types of relationships, which is why it fits into other types of social hierarchies and discriminations, which a lot of people here think should no longer exist.
I think conversationally, one of the big things for me is like a lot of pride seems to be about how we assimilate into heteronormativity, and I'm just not asked, I'm not interested. I think for me, it's about how we blaze and forge our own relationships, and it's the desire to have that respected, the need, and we deserve to have that respected, like in whatever way we kind of see fit. It can be a lot of intersectional things, but I think the huge push is just for us to kind of be able to blaze our own trail and forge our own relationships. For me, that's like the big thing.
What do you think is missing from the conversation around Pride?
I think at the moment it's the politics of Pride is missing. Like, this is a great celebration, everybody's out there being themselves, but we're in a political climate where there's a lot of anti-trans rhetoric, both in the UK and in the US, and I think we actually need to have some tough conversations about politics and legislation.
What I want to change, having people who actually know about these issues in positions of power to actually help people that need it, that's fundamentally important. It's still really missing. I'm a big advocate for working class people. I'm working class myself, and I feel like there's a lot of issues that aren't supporting people in those places. So I feel like, yes, I echo everything you just said. I feel like we really need to have the people that believe in supporting our actual causes in Parliament.
We have Rishi Sunak kind of putting a bill to make it really difficult for trans kids in school at the minute. I think we need to see more trans healthcare. I think we need more trans visibility, and trans rights are human rights. The government, they don't want to see that. They just want to use it as points to score, because basically they have no policy, they have no support. Everything that they've put in has failed, and it's a dying government. And trans people are just the last thing that they've got. Trans people and migrants is what they've got now.
And that point hit home because you had the Deputy Chair of the Conservative Party, Lee Anderson, literally saying that they plan to use issues of social equality, like LGBT issues and racism, as a political football to score votes in the next election. So these politicians aren't even really driven by hatred. They're driven by a desire to distract from the poverty they've caused by tapping into the worst parts of humanity. And so a lot of people in the LGBT plus community are tired of being used as bait.
But I do think it's really important that we remember the struggles that are still happening as well.
Yep.
And that's why I'm here as an ally. Actually, I think things have gone backwards in the past year, and that's really upsetting and distressing. Thinking about trans rights, thinking about asylum seeker rights, or like migrants as they're often described.
I was also reminded that we can't ever get complacent, because the progress we've made can be taken away at a moment's notice. We've seen that in America with abortion, with LGBT rights, and things can always get much, much worse.
We are a two women team from Uganda. The only LGBT swim team from Africa is called Uganda Kuchu's Aquatic Team. I think people need to understand the privilege they have, because currently in Uganda we have an anti-gay law that would make this illegal. Would all go to jail for 20 years simply for existing and being open about our sexualities and gender identity. So Londoners, Europe, everywhere around the world, people who are free must understand their privilege and celebrate it, but also care about what else is happening around the world.
What would you want the UK to do in terms of how it talks about the rights of LGBT people in Uganda?
Yeah, so the United Kingdom, we still have anti-sodomy laws that were introduced when they colonized Uganda. So the UK government must immediately help us as activists, work with us to ensure that these laws are repealed, because as you can see, Pride is happening, but the laws that they left behind post-colonizations are still on the books. So they must be dealt with. We must right the wrongs that the British colonizers imposed on the country.
Besides, supporting organizations in Uganda, but also activists who are doing this work, because, silence sort of supports the oppressors. So
There's also this really hypocritical idea that whether someone's gay or bi or where they fit on the gender spectrum between ultra-masculine man and ultra-feminine woman is somehow too adult for kids, that we're sexualizing kids by talking about this kind of stuff. And some people point to the more raunchy elements of Pride as proof of that, but pretty much every element of heterosexual media is extremely sexualized, from our music videos to our shampoo adverts. But nobody tried to act like talking about Mama Bear and Daddy Bear and Goldilocks was equivalent to showing kids porn.
So my dad is here, it's his first time, and I feel like coming to Pride, there's almost like an expectation. And I relate to that. Even though my dad is a straight man, I feel like coming to Pride, there's almost an expectation that it's just going to be gays in your face. But it's really not about that. It's just about coming and being who you are, and no one giving a fuck.
What would you say to people that think that Pride is over-sexualized and Pride is about being half-naked all the time? Is that what it's about?
No, I don't think it's not about that. I think that is maybe modern days gays being who they are, doing whatever they're doing, but that's for getting the message. It's going back to Stonewall, like black trans rights, they fucking fought for us. God bless their souls, like yes, love them, like. And then now we are very lucky to now live in a society, and I feel like we need to rewoke them. Like it's not about sexualization, and the straights need to realize that, and maybe sometimes the gay community maybe needs to realize that. But it is all about love, and it's about loving each other, our peers, whoever you are, your background, your skin color, you know, your sexual orientation, what gender you are. You can love whoever you want to love.
Excellent. But the main complaint I heard was about the lack of intersectionality, a lack of recognition of the fact that people aren't just gay or bi or trans or lesbian. They might be a woman, working class, from an ethnic minority or disabled. And all of those things impact the way that their LGBT status affects their lives. Because suffice to say, a gay, rich, white man is going to have a very different experience of LGBT issues than a black, working class lesbian.
As someone like you who is dating a person of colour,
I feel like coming to Pride as a white gay male, I feel like historically the day has been, as much as LGBTQIA+, there's a lot of focus around the G. As much as I might feel oppressed as a gay man, coming to a day like today makes me reevaluate my privilege as a white gay man. It gives you a whole new perspective, because there's so many different people from different cultures, from different backgrounds, different sexualities, different genders, and like it makes you reevaluate your place where you are, and it makes you actually think, do you know what, we're all here. Everyone's got a struggle.
So there's a reason why it's called Pride and no longer Gay Pride, because it shouldn't just be about men. Inclusion is strength. For example, race has often been used to divide working class people against each other, so that we forget that it's really the richest elites who are actually screwing us. So the more we recognize the broad range of people involved in this fight for equality, the more powerful we'll be. Happy Pride.